Chair, the meeting's now being recorded.
Great. I would like to call the special meeting of May 8th, 2024 to order. We're going to ask our newest Commissioner, Ignacio Rincon, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Everyone, please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, will the secretary please call roll?
Commissioner Christie,
Sorry, here.
Commissioner Escamilla, Commissioner Hardy, Commissioner Howdy,
Here.
Commissioner Padilla, Commissioner Rincon,
Present.
Commissioner Ship, Vice Chair Marashi,
Here.
Chair Rush,
Present.
Chair quorum has been reached at 4:33.
Okay, thank you. Please note the presence of Manny Escamilla. Okay, before we begin, I'd like to welcome one new commissioner, Ignacio Rincon, as the Ward 1 representative to our Historic Resources Commission. Welcome.
Thank you.
Commissioner Rincon, we're the fun committee. We applaud here, okay?
Although we don't allow you a 15-minute acceptance speech, so you'll have to hold that for another group. I would like to remind my fellow commissioners to turn off your microphone or turn it on when speaking and off when not speaking. And when speaking, please place the microphone about 4 inches away from you. Thank you. Members of the public may attend the Historic Resources Commission's meetings in person or virtually via Zoom. I now invite the Commission Secretary to describe the manner in which the public can access and participate in this meeting.
This meeting is being live streamed via our portal at www.sana-ana.primegov.com/public/portal and to www.youtube.com/City of Santa Ana videos. If you would like to provide public comment, you may do so in the following ways. Join the meeting via Zoom, enter meeting ID number 833-3889-2330. When the item that you would like to comment on is being discussed, select the hand icon to let us know you would like to speak. You will be called upon by the name you entered. You can also join the meeting by calling 669-900-6833. Enter meeting ID number 833-3889-2330. When the item that you would like to comment on is being discussed, press 9 to let us know that you would like to speak. You will be called upon by the last 3 digits of your phone number. After you are called upon, you may press 6 to unmute yourself. For those who are attending this meeting in person and would like to provide public comment, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. All speakers will have 3 minutes to speak, and I will alert you when your time is up.
Moving on to public comments on non-agenda items. Madam Secretary, does anyone wish to speak?
If you're attending this meeting in person and would like to comment on non-agenda items, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. If you're participating via Zoom and would like to comment on non-agenda items, please select the hand icon and unmute yourself. If you're calling in and would like to comment on non-agenda items, please dial 9 and then 6 to unmute yourself. Chair, we do not have any speakers.
Okay. Moving on to the consent calendar, one motion for all consent items unless an item is pulled. And
Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Christie.
I'd like to pull item C. of the
Item-
consent-
Item C, Historic Preservation Agreement number 2024-03, the property located at 1205 South Birch. Okay. Okay, so Commissioner Christie has pulled that item and is this where we pull out the issue regarding the absences? Okay, so I am removing approval of the absences we have today. We have 3 commissioners absent: Commissioner Hardy, Commissioner Padilla, Commissioner Shipp. Commissioner Shipp indicates that he is a victim of food poisoning. Commissioner Padilla is our newest member and apparently already had previous engagements. Commissioner Hardy, have we heard from
She
Commissioner Hardy?
sent an email saying that she was gonna be here.
She what?
She sent an email saying she was gonna be here.
Okay. Okay, so we'll pull that item and move on to, I guess, a roll call vote. Is that it?
We need a motion.
Okay, someone would like to make a motion?
Chair, I make the motion that we approve item A, the minutes from last meeting, as stated.
Second,
All right. Okay, Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Motion to approve item A, minutes from March 7, 2024. Motion by Vice Chair Marashi and second by Commissioner Christie. Commissioner Christie,
yes.
Commissioner Escamilla,
Yes.
Commissioner Hardy, Commissioner Hadigi,
Yes.
Commissioner Padilla, Commissioner Rincon,
Yes.
Commissioner Shipp, Vice Chair Marashi,
Yes,
Chair Rush.
Yes.
Motion approved by majority vote with Commissioner Hardy, Commissioner Padilla, and Commissioner Shipp absent.
Okay. All right, so that concludes the consent calendar.
No,
Or
Me.
no, do we go back to the issue of the absences? So what is the commission's prerogative regarding those absences?
Chair, if Commissioner Hardy said she's going to make it, why don't you bring item B back at the end of the meeting?
Okay,
And
well,
do it at that time.
all right. Okay, let's do that. Is that all right with everybody? Madam Secretary, is that okay? Okay. All right, so that concludes the consent calendar. Moving on to the business calendar.
No. Item C.
Item C.
The item was pulled by,
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. So you pulled, Commissioner Christie, you pulled a preservation agreement 2024-03 for the property located at 1205 South Birch Street.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for the.
Your mic's not on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, on here, we need to update this. And not only the name of the house, we need to also the category of the house. I know that this is a Mills Act agreement and everything, and what I'd like to do is, and Ollie will help me with this, but first of all, the reason why I say we need to update. This home was owned by Brian and Lisa Biss. Okay? They were very influential residents of our city. You know, Santa Ana had a bad reputation back in the 90s. Nobody wanted to invest here. We were being hammered by the crime and all negative things by registers in other cities. So what happened, the city started putting together people who were very vested in improving the image of it. And one of the first things they did was establish ETAC, Environmental,
Transportation Advisory Committee.
committee, back in the early 90s, ETAC. Is that committee still going today?
Yeah,
Okay.
but
all
now
right.
it's a commission.
It's a commission, okay. This was advisory committee. Brian and Lisa served on that committee. They're the ones that coming out of that committee, that directed the urban forests, that we would have tree canopies in throughout our cities, roads, so that Flower Street didn't continue into Floral Park Neighborhood Association. They protected, entries into our neighborhood streets so that we would protect the neighborhood from major traffic flow, okay? And they did an excellent job. Very involved in the Wilshire Square Neighborhood Association, which is one of the early neighborhood associations throughout the city. And they have beautiful Tudor homes and colonial Spanish style homes, okay? So what happened in 1998? Significant point in history. What happened at that time? And just before that, 96, we had Mayor, Councilmember Tom Lutz, and then Lisa Mills was on the council at that time. They brought in 1995, 96, the Artist Village. That was the first step in helping to change the image of Santa Ana, okay? So that was going forward, and it go through all, not everybody on the council was supportive of that. Okay, major election in 1998. At that time, we had Mayor Polito of. Then it was the even number wards, 2, 4, and 6. 2 was Lisa. 4 was me. 6 was Pat McGuigan. During that time, all neighborhood strong residents, we won in that. And then also serving at that time were Ward 1, 2, and 3, Wards 1, 3, and 5. 1 was Ted Marino. 3 was Brett Franklin, and 5 was Tom Lutz. So you had a crew that really wanted to change the image of Santa Ana. This is the starting point for that change. So what happened in changing? Lisa and I went out there and campaigned, changed the image. Number 1, public safety. Number 2, Delhi Center would get a community center that was worth a neighborhood. They were in Army Quonset huts. Can you imagine? Their neighborhood felt disenfranchised by the city. So what happened? Mayor Polito at that time said, ladies, do keep your campaign promises. And we did. First of all, we developed a very powerful committee called Neighborhood Improvement Code Enforcement. NICE, okay? The NICE committee. And the first thing we did was hire a commercial code enforcement office. We never had that before. You can't come in and tell the neighborhoods to take pride if the business, especially in the downtown area, was looking shabby. Okay, like I said, I'm a retired banker, and I told them, I don't care how good you are within your business, if your front of your business looks shabby, I'm not going to spend my money, and we needed that. So we developed that code, a commercial code enforcement officer for the city. Very, very successful. Next thing we did, coming from our committee with Lisa and I, we took redevelopment funds. Remember redevelopment funds from the city? We allocated money to the merchants on Main Street, gave them a grant for $15,000 to improve the facade. So what happened with Main Street? It thrived once they changed. It's now historic, right? It's thrived on that. We were looking through the future of that. What happened with Delhi? They got their community center. Okay, we allocated funds to a community center that brought the pride of that whole established area there. Longtime residents living in there, they got the pride back to the city. Most important here, we established Historic Resource Commission. We did, that council. In 1999, we set up, we wanted the city to take and be responsible for protecting our treasures, which were our homes and so forth, because developers were going to come in and start knocking down the homes. We didn't want that, especially in saving that, since we have the rich history of that. We developed the Artist Village. In addition to look at 4th Street. Nobody wanted to come down to downtown 4th Street. Now look at it. We started that. We invested. We went out there and seeing. Look at the Discovery Science Center. It went from something small to something gigantic. Look at Bowers Museum. Okay? Bowers Museum, which is the museum here in Santa Ana. Lisa was the city's representative to their advisory committee. So what happened during that time? We helped Bowers to negotiate with the British Museum, and we bought the treasures of China, Egypt, Solomon and Sheba exhibit, the treasures of Tibet, brought us all on the map as one of the most significant museums that we have here in Orange County. See, you didn't know that, did you? You're learning all of this, okay? We developed on the NICE committee with the famous fence, lawn, landscaping ordinance that was equally applied throughout the city. And as we know, famous home on 19th and Hillethrope tried to come through and say, well, I'm a big star, it doesn't apply. No, he got shot down because that ordinance was in there, okay? We also kept businesses from leaving Santa Ana. Really, First American was going to leave us. They were downtown. They were going to Irvine. Do you know what that would have been? You know, First American Title leaving? No. We talked to them. We worked together as a council and work with them in getting the land where they are today. Another thing was that the auto mall, okay? Well, before we came on the council, right under where the auto mall and the 55 freeway, there was a strip club. Remember the strip club that was there? Okay, we could not get rid of that strip club, okay?
I think the appropriate term for it was Gentlemen's Entertainment Club.
It was a strip club, okay? A strip club and so forth. And then what happened, unfortunately, God was looking out for us. You know, unfortunately, a corporate jet that had a major company's president and CEO crashed into that. We were landed in there, crashed, they lost their lives. However, you know, it hit the building. Guess what? The building no longer had a permit to rebuild. So guess what? Gone. And guess what? auto mall, and bringing that. That's what happened during the time from the council from 1998 to 2006, that you had all of this. In addition, during this time, what really put us on there, we established international trade with Mexico. Remember the international trade? And we were the only city in Orange County, we had a Mexican consulate in our city. All during this time, 1998 to 2006.
Now, Alberta, I just want to mention to you, this meeting, we have to be out of here by 9 PM tonight, so.
I'm just
just
about
wanna let you know.
finished, but I'm educated. Are you happy that I'm telling you the story? Are you happy? Are you happy? To let you know what happened.
If I can add to that, and I'll try to be at a summary, Brian Bist was one of our initial co-chairs, and he helped put together the bylaws of Wilshire Square Neighborhood Association. And my understanding that Brian Bist, together with Guy Ball, established Comlink. They are the first initiative, the ones that took
And Jim
initiative in
Walker.
that and established
And Jim
Comlink.
Walker,
Mhm.
And who?
Jim
Jim
Walker.
And Jim Walker. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember that, and they were
And
instrumental.
that is significant only because I think Alberta, where she's going is, we'd like to see the name of the house hyphenated to be the, what is it now, the what house?
Love and Good.
Leaven Good Bist House.
Well, I was going to update it and just put the Brian and Lisa.
Well,
let me
I might be
finish
too
what-
long.
what-
We've
what-
never added first names on a house before, but anyway.
Hold on here. And then, the most important, we kept Modern Day from leaving Santa Ana. Modern Day was going out of here. They were going out of here. We worked on the council to keep Modern Day in Santa Ana. So as you can see that we have, you can imagine why we need to update the name and the key. I mean, Key is an important person, and these are Brian and Lisa are very important in the history of Santa Ana. So I would like to make a motion that we approve the Ollie, help me out here. We approve the,
So Commissioner Christie, I believe, given the sentiments and the history that you've shared with the commission tonight, if I'm summarizing it correctly, you're seeking to approve make a motion to approve the Mills Act, but with a stipulation that the property be returned to the Historic Resources Commission pursuant to Santa Ana Municipal Code Section 30-2.2 to have it recategorized at a subsequent public hearing,
and name change.
and with the stipulation that the name be changed.
Yes, that's my motion.
Okay,
I'll second that.
Excuse me,
Um,
Chair. Before we continue, can I ask all the commissioners to have their phones away from their mic? It's causing feedback and it's affecting our Zoom. Just move your phones away from your mic if they're around them. Thank you.
okay. Can I ask a point of order? We have a motion and a second. Is it appropriate to ask Andrea for her comment on this before we vote? Do you have any, is there any reason that we can't proceed in this manner? Well, I'm asking Andrea as our chief preservation planner and Ali. I'm not trying to exclude anybody. I'm asking for input here.
I think it's appropriate to include them, given the history you shared and the significance in the city. So the name change, I support that. I support keeping the original name with the new name, like a hyphen name as suggested.
And the category.
And the category. Yeah.
Okay, having said that, we have a motion and a second, and Madam Secretary, can you call the roll?
Commissioner Christie?
Yes.
Commissioner Escamilla?
Yes.
Commissioner Hardy? Commissioner Hadigi?
Yes.
Commissioner Padilla? Commissioner Rincon,
Yes.
Commissioner Ship, Vice Chair Marashi,
Yes.
Chair Rush.
Yes.
Motion approved by majority vote with Commissioner Padilla, with Commissioner Ship and Commissioner Hardy absent.
Okay.
You really need to know the history of Santa Ana and how, I mean, it's just not, wow, where it was like it is today. We fought for that. We changed the image. We got the investment and we need to honor those once again. And you got the names of the people on the council during that time. Okay.
And one more little item, Lisa is still working for the city now where she resides. They're in Big Bear. They're in communication with us here in Wilshire Square. And she is also, she's either commissioner or on council, but she's still working up there.
Very good. Would you let her know what we're doing when you talk to her?
Okay. That concludes the consent calendar. Moving on to the business calendar session. I will now review the process for the public hearing so that everyone knows what to expect. Staff will provide a presentation and answer questions from the commission. The public hearing will be opened. The applicant will be given the opportunity to speak, limited to 15 minutes. Members of the public will be given the opportunity to comment, limited to 3 minutes. The applicant will be given the opportunity to respond to comments made by the public, limited to 5 minutes. A public hearing will then be closed. Discussion will return to the commissioners with formal action taken to approve, deny, or continue the review of the application. Please consider the following suggestions when organizing your comments. Please state your name and address. State whether you support, oppose, or are neutral to the proposal. Your statement should include all pertinent facts within your knowledge. Please note the formal action by the Historic Resource Commission shall become effective after the 10-day appeal period unless the City Council holds a public hearing on the matter. Then the formal action will become effective on the day following the hearing and decision by the City Council. An appeal from the decision or requirement of the commission must be filed with the clerk of the council and a copy sent to the planning department within 10 days of the date of the commission's action. The appeal may be made by any interested party, individual, or group. Item number 1, this is the time and place for the Historic Resources Commission, application number 2024-02, Historic Register Categorization number 2024-02, and Historic Property Preservation application 2024-04 for the property located at 516 West 19th Street, located within the single-family residential R1 zoning district, and of course, in historic Floral Park. Before we begin, do any commissioners have anything they wish to disclose regarding this item? Commissioner Christie?
Yes, I visited the property on Saturday and spoke with Jill Burnett and her dogs.
Okay. Any other commissioners? Okay, all right. Andrea Dumovich Haywood will now provide a brief presentation.
Thank you. Good evening. It's nice to be here. Item number 1, as stated earlier, is for the Dixon Heemstra House. This item is a request to place the property addressed at 516 West 19th Street on the Santa Ana Register and to execute a Mills Act agreement with the property owner. Staff recommends approval of this item. The Dixon Heemstra House is a craftsman-style house constructed in 1923 and located in Floral Park. The architect is unknown. However, it was built for home builder, W.H. Dixon, affiliated with W.H. Dixon and Son, a local contractor builder in Santa Ana and Greater Orange County. In 1923, newspapers advertised the sale of the subject property as Dixon's Durable Dwelling. The The house qualifies for listing in Santa Ana Register of Historical Properties under criterion 1 as an intact example of the craftsman style home in Santa Ana. The recommended categorization is key because it has distinctive architectural style and quality reflective of the craftsman style. Character defining features of the house include, but may not be limited to, the following: the L-shaped plan, asymmetrical primary facade, low-pitched roof with overhanging eaves and exposed rafter tails, the long side gabled front porch that intersects two front gables at the primary facade, the narrow horizontal wood panel siding, the porch's exposed beams at the gable's end, and the 3 porch support columns. Primary entrance composed of a single glazed door with divided lights, 2 large tripartite wood frame windows comprised of a central fixed window between 2 narrow double hung windows with divided lights, which flank the main entrance. All original windows and doors and the framing around them. The detached garage and the front yard lawn with lawnscaping, including mature trees and shrubs. And then lastly, the Hollywood driveway, with a note that if it's restored, the center is restored from gravel to grass. And then as a refresher of the key category, I've included this slide. So for key listing, it includes a building, structure, object, or site which has a distinctive architectural style and quality, or is characteristic of a significant period in the history of the city, or is associated with a significant person or event in the city. And then I've included additional photos. The far left photo is of the east side facade. You can see the window detail there. The middle photo is the main entrance within the covered front porch. And then the far right photo is of the building's rear south facade. And then I've also included the Mills Act work plan. The home is in very good condition, so there is not a lot of items here. But in 2025, the plan is to restore the Hollywood driveway by removing the gravel and replacing it with grass and repairing any broken concrete. And then 2027, repairing window poles throughout the property. And then ongoing would be the continued maintenance of the landscape. So staff recommends that the commission approve HRCA number 2024-02 and HRC 2024-02, and recommend City Council authorize HPPA number 2024-04. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Does the commission have any questions or comments of staff?
I do.
Commissioner Marashi?
Just out of curiosity, and it has nothing to do with what they do with the house, but so you said grass between the Hollywood driveway. Just out of curiosity, can you have really quality AstroTurf there just for maintenance? Because I know it's hard to sometimes keep that little narrow strip of grass alive. I'm just curious.
Potentially. I'm not,
Okay.
we haven't approved that in the past that I'm aware of. But our landscape standards do allow for that, for artificial turf. So it's something we could work with the applicant, but I think our, the city would prefer to see
Of course.
real grass.
Of course. And then the next thing was, what did you call that? The Dixon, what?
Heemstra.
Well, this is the other ad that appeared in the Santa Ana Register. And I love this because it just takes you right back in time. Madam, your home is ready. It's at 516 West 19th Street, a super quality 6-room bungalow amid the walnuts, surrounded by new high-class homes. See it and then see the owner. And that's out of October 9th, 1923.
Any other questions of staff? I have a question, Andrea. Did you tell us, and I missed it, who Mr. Heemstra was?
I did not tell you, and I don't think we have a lot of information.
Well, why is it being
It's-
called the Dixon Heemstra House?
We base it off of the earliest owner occupant, so it's based off the occupancy research, and we don't always uncover information about the person.
I used to know a Heemstra family in Bellflower,
Mm.
which was, Bellflower, Artesia, Paramount, and that area was very, still to this day, very, very, very heavy Dutch. And I used to know Dick Heemstra, although I'm sure he was not the original owner of that home. But anyway, it's not an all that uncommon Dutch name. And the windows on the house appear to be, those are marginal windows. Is that what I'm looking? I mean, the pictures appear to be marginal windows. Is that the style? They're double hung marginal windows?
Yes, they're mostly double hung. I'm not familiar with that term.
Huh?
I'm not familiar with that term.
Marginal windows are windows that have $1 million about, so far above the bottom, and then 2 millions
Yeah.
on going vertically up and down like a margin on a piece of ruled paper. They call them marginal
It
windows.
appears to look like that.
Huh?
It appears to look like that.
Yeah. So, okay. All right. At this point, I will open the public hearing. Does the commission have any comments or questions of the applicant? Are they here? Would they like to come forward?
Hi, everybody. I'm Jill Brummett. I'm Mona Constant. Any questions from any of you directly to us?
Who's the Heemstras?
The Heemstras.
They were very nice people.
I see. I see. Left you a lovely home. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. And they're Dutch. You're going to tell me that, right?
Yeah, and so am I. So,
right.
you know, it all
Okay,
ties
good.
together.
There you go. All right. Okay, so much for that. Did you have anything you wanted to tell us in particular? Maybe what you're doing or?
Well, she's well, you can talk for yourself, I guess, but I'll talk for her. She's a high school teacher at Santa Ana High School. Planning to be there for a long time. And
I've already been there a long time.
yeah, and I work for Social Security Administration, Fountain Valley, so we're locals. We both grew up in Orange County. I lived in Santa Ana from 75 to 87.
I see.
And then moved around out of state, Orange County and stuff like that. She's lived here her entire life.
How long have you owned the home?
5 years.
I see.
My family lives 2 blocks away. We're moving our parents into North Park Avenue and Floral Park as well. So we're kind of a little family there. Plan on doing other improvements that weren't on the list there. One of them is we want to have it, it's not retro earthquake fit, so we're gonna have that done. And one of the sides is kind of, the west side is kind of leaning in, so we're gonna have that. Hopefully all the floors without things rolling down that side. Yeah, level it. And then just doing some more improvements to the front yard. We want to put some more California native plants in, maybe take out just a small amount of the grass and put some more just flower, butterfly, birds, that kind of thing. As far as the driveway goes, we did have grass in it when we first moved in, but we couldn't keep it because our cars are there, so it never got sunlight. But we'll go ahead and put grass back in and do whatever we need to do to make sure that it's compliant. That's all the information that I have.
We've loved the house. We were really lucky to get it. And our first goal was to just make sure that we were able to maintain. So we put on the new roof updated plumbing, had it painted. And this was just the next logical step in keeping that maintenance.
There was mention made on one of the slides that something about the window pulls.
Yeah.
I assume that's on the inside of the house,
Yes.
right?
Technically,
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
Which we technically have no purview
I
over.
have some bruised fingers from that. Well,
Oh.
not anymore, but when we first moved in.
Hmm.
We had to
Surprise.
get used to the double pane windows and have weights anymore.
Or
Like
they're
that until.
Disconnected.
Yeah.
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 So
So
now-
we would like to have
Now we're
that
very
done.
careful.
Mhm.
Otherwise, the inside of the house is pretty much the same. I think it had at one time a fireplace, it looks like, when you walked into the front room, and then it had bookshelves on both sides. We want to have that, at least the facade put back in eventually. I don't know if you guys care about that.
Well, we do, but we don't
But we
have any
plan on-
purview
we
over
don't
it.
plan on- We don't plan on retrofitting it to anything modern. We're gonna keep it the way that it is.
Is there a chimney on that house?
Not anymore.
Then it was probably a
but
faux
the-
fireplace.
The base underneath the brick is still there,
Yeah.
under the house.
Huh, oh,
Yeah.
well,
I don't think we could put a chimney in where it is. I don't know how it was to begin with, but it does look like there was something there. At least on the inside, you can see on the walls.
Hmm.
Outside, that's not really something we have planned in the future, but.
yeah. A lot of houses, particularly more modest ones, very commonly had faux fireplaces. Yeah. I have one in my house,
Yes.
although mine's a different architectural style, but has a chimney, what appears to be a chimney on the exterior, but it's not a real chimney. It's just,
We were told by the previous owners
Excuse
that
me,
they
can you
had-
speak into the mic? Can you speak into the mic?
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
We were told by the previous owners who had lived there for, I think, 25 years, that they had thought it had fallen during the Long Beach earthquake.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, so anyway. That's it. Thank you guys for your time.
okay. All right,
Okay.
okay. Well, thank you, ladies.
Okay.
I was gonna make finding more out about the Heemster family a condition of approval, but I'll back off on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Since you're Dutch,
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'll just fill in for them.
there you go. Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Is there a motion
You
to
close the
approve
public
this?
hearing. You gotta close the public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Is there any other members of the public that would like to speak on this matter? Do we have any correspondence on this, Madam Secretary?
We have received written communication that was submitted after the deadline. It will be made part of the agenda after
Okay.
the meeting.
Was it in opposition?
No, it was in favor of.
Okay,
this.
all right. All right, so there's no other members of the public that wish to speak on this issue. So I will now close the public hearing. And our next item then is there a motion to approve this matter in the second?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move that we adopt a resolution of approving Historic Resource Commission applicant number 2024-02 and a historic register categorization 2024-02. And recommend that the city council authorize the city manager and clerk of the council to execute the attached Mills Act agreement with Jill Burnett. Am I pronouncing it correct? Bromett, okay, and Mona Costin? Constant, okay. Subject to non-substantive changes approved by the city manager and city attorney.
And do we have a second?
Yeah, I wanted a second with a friendly amendment, if at all possible, just to include the updated language of the additional work that's going to be done, just to have that in the documentation. I think that's appropriate for the Mills Act, and you're going to do it anyways, it sounds like. So just want to make sure we update that as we approve it.
Are you making a second?
Yes,
Manny?
yes.
Okay, all right. So we have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary, would you like to call the roll?
Commissioner Christie,
Yes.
Commissioner Escamilla,
Aye.
Commissioner Hardy, Commissioner Hadigi,
Yes.
Commissioner Padilla, Commissioner Rincon,
Yes.
Commissioner Schiff, Vice Chair Marashi,
Yes.
Chair Rush.
Yes.
Motion approved by majority vote with Commissioner Hardy, Commissioner Padilla, and Commissioner Ship absent.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Mr.
Yes,
Chair,
Commissioner
I have to
Christie.
leave because I've got my own meeting I gotta attend to at Valley High School. And I did want to disclose that I did on Saturday go and visit the property at 501, is it 501? West 19th Street, 501, but I did not speak to the occupants. I'm there, sorry. Okay, but I'm,
All right.
thank you.
Let the record show that Commissioner Christie has been excused, even though we're all wanting to hear more about former council member Bist and Commissioner Christie when she was a council member. So will you give us the next installment at the next meeting?
Can you talk into the mic, Commissioner
I'm sorry.
Christie?
Other thing we did in 1999, established the first ever youth commission in all of Orange County.
Thank you. Thank you, Alberta. What to be continued at the next HRC meeting. So, all right. Okay. So next item, this is the time and place for the historic exterior modification application number 2024-01 for the property located at 501 West 19th Street, located within the single-family R1 zoning district. Before we begin, do any commissioners have anything they wish to disclose with regard to this item? Commissioner Marashi.
I spoke with Matthew on the phone about the property and just.
And
he asked me
Matthew
a couple
is?
Questions, what?
Matthew is?
Matthew is the owner, I'm sorry, Matthew Cantillis? Perfect.
Okay, all right. Any other commissioners have anything to share? I did drive by. I didn't talk to anybody, but I did drive by the property. So I've been by it many, many times. Okay. Andrea Dumovich Haywood will now provide a brief presentation.
Thank you. Item number 2 is for a historic exterior modification application for the Lacey Murray House. Application is for HEMA number 2024-01, located at 501 West 19th Street. The project includes a historic exterior modification application to allow a new 456 square foot family and laundry room, 159 square foot master bedroom expansion, interior remodel, replacement of one original fixed window at the primary facade, removal of 3 double hung windows, and the repurpose of 1 door. Staff recommends approval of HEMA 2024-01.
Does the commission have any questions or comments of staff?
Oh, sorry, I still have a presentation.
What?
I'm still going.
Oh, I thought you finished.
No.
All right.
Okay. I'm gonna keep going.
This is how it starts, Andrea. Pretty soon, I'm just out there.
All right. So the site aerial. Subject property is located in the Floral Park neighborhood on a corner lot that is north of West 19th Street and west of North Ross Street. So the Lacey Murray House was constructed in 1923 in the Mission/Spanish colonial revival style. It was listed in 2014 as number 582 on the Santa Ana Register as a key property. And then it's also listed in the California Register of Historical Resources because it's in the Floral Park National Register District. And additionally, it's a contributor to the Floral Park National Register District. So project description, 456 square foot family and laundry room will be added to the west facade. 159 square foot master bedroom expansion, also at the west facade. An interior remodel of 1,147 square feet, which will include remodeling bathrooms, master bedroom and closet, and a bedroom reconfiguration. And then a new interior access will be created between the existing garage and the main house. There will be replacement of one original fixed wood window at the primary facade with a new operable wood window for egress purposes. There will be removal of 3 original double hung wood windows due to the kitchen remodel. And I'm sorry, that's a typo. It says salvage and reuse 1. It's actually the 4th window will be salvage and reuse. 3 will be fully removed. And then removal of an existing door at the primary east facade that will be moved and repurposed at an adjacent alcove. So existing and proposed site plan. The proposed additions to the west facade are outlined in red. So where my mouse is. And then the interior remodel is outlined in blue. And I'll explain in detail as we look at additional sheets. So proposed demolition plan. So the X's throughout represent what's going to be removed. The orange X's where my mouse is are original windows that will be removed. So here where my mouse is, this is the alcove. And let me just step back and say that, let me orient you. The primary facade, so we've got, this is the main primary facade to the south where the main entrance is. And then this is also a primary facade since it's a corner lot to the east. And so then this area and over here is the back or rear. So back to the alcove, 3 windows here will be fully removed to make way for the kitchen remodel. And then at the back, we have 4 windows that will be removed. And then the primary south facade is where the original fixed window will be removed and replaced with an awning style window for egress. And that window will look nearly identical to the existing window. And then the red X's, so in the back here, all of these are windows that will be fully removed and none of them are original. This area right here is a later addition. The blue X is an original door that will be removed to make way for the family room that's going to be placed here. And then lastly, the green X's over here represent what will be salvaged. So there's a door here that will be removed and it will be moved over to the alcove. And then this here is a window that will also be moved and repurposed. So first floor proposed plan. Again, the proposed additions are outlined in red, right where my mouse is. And then the interior remodel work is outlined in blue. So I'll start with the additions. The new master bedroom in red will be built right here where my mouse is, towards the back of the property. And then the new family room is where my mouse is, again in the back of the property. And then the laundry room will be right here, part of the original footprint, and then a little expanded right here. And then the interior remodel, we've got the new master bathroom and walk-in closet where my mouse is in the footprint, original footprint. We have a new garage access because currently the owners have to go outside of their house to get into the garage through this door. So now they can access it through the existing floor plan and go internally. And then here we'll have the new kitchen remodel. And then lastly, the new third bedroom, currently this is one large bedroom. They're going to split it up into two. And that is what is prompting the removal of the fixed window and changing it to an awning style, which is required for egress. Okay, existing and proposed roof plan. The additions again are outlined in red. The new roofs will match the existing type of roof, which is a built-up low slope roof. And then there will also be one new skylight that you can see indicated by the red arrow. And existing and proposed primary south facade. So the existing elevation is on top, is the top image, and the proposed is below that. The new family room addition added to the west facade to the back towards the rear will be minimally visible from the primary south facade. It will be mostly blocked by the existing garden wall, and the garden wall is right here where my mouse is. So the addition is outlined in red right here. And you can see an outline of the proposed new windows of the family room right here. They won't be fully visible. This is just to illustrate that the two windows are here, but this wall will be partially blocking it. And then for this addition, the new roof line will have the Spanish clay tile coping at the top that will be slightly differentiated from the original coping in the size and color of the clay tiles. And additionally, an existing fixed window right here will be replaced with an operable style window for egress right here. It should look identical. And the dimensions and materials will remain the same. Okay, so now we're at the primary east elevation. So we have an existing single Dutch door outlined in red that will be removed, but it will be repurposed. You'll see it on a later slide. It'll be placed in the alcove. In place of this door will be a repurposed double hung window right here. And then you can also see the west facade bedroom expansion. You'll partially see it from the primary east facade right here outlined in red. Again, same as I said before, the coping will be slightly differentiated so you can tell it's a later addition. Now we're at the north elevation. So these changes reflect the master bedroom expansion at the west or back facade. It'll be slightly visible from the north facade or the backyard area. The windows and doors to be removed in this upper image, none of this is original. And it will be replaced with the two double hung windows. These windows will not contain the OG lugs, those horns on the original windows, will not contain that to distinguish it as a later addition. And then the new doors will be glazed French doors. And now we're looking at the west elevation. Here we can see two new additions. So the master bedroom expansion will expand the footprint slightly to the north where my mouse is. This will be new construction. The roof line will be lower than the existing, but as you saw on the last slide, you'll still be able to see it over the garage just slightly from the east facade. The primary room will also have a lower roof line than existing, and none of this will be visible from the primary east facade when you're facing the garage. This family room will incorporate 3 sets of French doors, similar to what we saw on the north facade. And I think that's it. all existing fenestration or openings on the west facade, all of it will be removed. So everything here will be removed and replaced. Most of it is not original. So the new windows will all be wood, double hung style. They will not contain the OG lugs to reflect a later change. So now we're gonna look at the alcove area, the north facade, and I'll show you, because it's a little confusing. I'll show you what we're looking at right now. So we're currently looking at this facade where my mouse is. So the changes include removing these 3 windows for the kitchen remodel. This 4th window here will be removed, but it will be salvaged and placed on the east facade that we saw earlier. The Dutch door that we saw earlier will be salvaged and it will be placed in this alcove. So the Secretary of Interior Standards, this project complies with rehabilitation standard 1 through 3, 5, and 9 through 10. Rehab standards 4, 6 through 8 are not applicable. And the project complies with guidelines for preserving, rehabilitating, restoring, and reconstructing historic buildings. And then just a refresher, the ones that don't apply, standard 4, which is changes to property that have acquired historical significance in their own right that will be retained and preserved. There have been no changes that have acquired historical significance. And then standard 6, deteriorated features and replacement of missing features. This project doesn't include that. Standard 7 relates to chemical and physical treatments, and standard 8 is relating to archaeology. So staff recommends that the commission adopt a resolution approving a certificate of appropriateness for historic exterior modification, application number 2024-04. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Does the commission have any questions of staff? Yes, Commissioner Marashi.
So this house sits on a corner lot, and the primary view corridor is from the south and from the east. Do you have a view corridor into the west and the north?
No,
Okay.
the west is not visible from the street.
Right.
The north maybe very partially if you're walking down the street, but that's not considered the primary facade.
Okay. So what we're talking about from, let's say from just to summarize what you said, make sure I have it right. From the south side, what you're doing is you're taking one of the windows and you're changing it out for something that looks exactly the same so you can have egress. You're seeing a new addition on the left side, but it's behind the wall and the arch and all that stuff. It's being differentiated with a different type of tile top. And then on the east side, you're taking out one door and you're putting in a replacement window that's been repurposed. And you can see the addition in the back, again, far behind in the back on the right-hand side. And again, it's the tiles differentiating it. Does that about summarize it?
Yeah, that's correct of what you can see from the
Yeah.
public right of way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, thanks.
Commissioner Hargy.
So just basically, again, to summarize some, the effect and the changes, although they will be differentiated by the color and the size, but basically the effect will be to keep the integrity of the buildings. Okay.
Yes, we encouraged minimal visibility from the primary facade, so this project is as minimal as it could
Okay.
be, yeah.
Commissioner Escamilla, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I think the only thing that I think that was pending is the Southern California Edison placement of the utility meter. So as long as it's not visible, yeah, that's really the only thing I'm like worried about.
No, it should not be.
Ms. Haywood, I have some questions. Boy, there's a lot going on here. There is one hell of a lot of alterations. Holy shnikes. I can't remember the last time we had a HEMA come before us with this many alteration. I mean, it's mind-boggling. Wow. Can you go back to some of the drawing? I have some questions for you. I guess for starters, I'm going to say, I think it's a mistake to have double hung windows that don't have those OG lugs. They serve a purpose. Now, maybe you want to alter them in some other way. Put a piece of molding on them, circular, do something. But I think the homeowner is going to be disappointed because the usability. Because what happens is when you have both of those sashes pushed down, the whole purpose of the lug is it pushes the one of the sashes up about an inch and a half or two, so you can grab onto it to lift it up. If you don't have that, now you can't do that. Now, granted, probably with central air and heating, which I'm sure this house is going to be outfitted with, if it isn't already, it may be minimal that you're going to open those windows. But I would imagine on days like we've had in the last 90 days, a lot of the times you wouldn't have AC on, you would have the windows open. So I think that's an important consideration. There ought to be another way to differentiate those double hung windows. The other question I have is, what is an awning door? Never heard the term. Or I kept hearing this thing about an awning. Is it a door? Is it
I
a
think
Oh,
that's.
the window.
awning window?
Yeah, it's,
I know what an awning is. What's an awning window?
it opens out, it lifts up. So it's
So
just,
instead of a casement window or double hung, it opens out this way, like schoolhouse windows, huh?
Just like this.
So it opens out. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, answers that question. Let's see here. What elevation? There's an elevation that shows a stoop. And if I look properly, it appeared that you're removing a window, removing a door, you're going to leave a stoop and it's going to have a window.
was it this one?
Huh?
No,
There you go. Repurpose original window. So are you taking, is that a stoop there? Would appear to be with a handrail, right?
Mhm.
Is there a door there now?
Well, there's this door here.
On the bottom, I'm looking here where it says proposed. Is that going to be a door?
To the left. Right
You
that
can't
way.
see it.
Yeah. Isn't that a door?
I believe so. No? Let me see.
Oh, it's facing the other way.
Which
Right.
way?
It's in the alcove.
There's two doors, at
This
90-degree angle.
Oh,
So are you taking out a window and putting in a door?
No, it's on,
Oh,
Or are you taking out a door and putting in a window?
it's a different elevation on the alcove.
Tim.
What?
Go
There's
to
a
the,
door
maybe go to
here,
the site plan.
and there's a door here currently. You can't see.
Go to the site plan, Kishon. There you go.
Yeah, there's just a lot going on here. All these red X's, you say those are windows that are coming out, right?
The red is non-original windows, but
Okay, but they're windows that are coming out.
yes.
That are present today.
Yeah.
What's going to replace them?
So we're having new construction and so, let me see.
So that wall is going to go away, is that it? Because the room's being made bigger? How could
Well,
you make it any bigger
right
on that
here,
lot?
There's
Huh?
there's gonna be an addition right here, so they have to remove.
Okay, so that wall goes away. Now, what
Um,
about that wall?
I mean, there's a new space in here, so it's gonna be reconfigured, so these
It's
are
going to be what?
reconfigured space right here,
Uh-huh.
remodel here. And
Okay.
then the addition, the family room and the laundry will be right here.
So that wall is going to go away.
We can look
Is
at
that
it.
right? That's a
Th-
yes or
this
no
is the new
question.
f- This is,
Does the
the-
law, does that wall go away? Yes or no?
I mean, it looks like it. Right here.
What? So that would be yes then, the wall goes away. Is that right? Does it go away, yes or no?
Chair, I would encourage you to not communicate directly with the applicants until the public hearing is open.
Okay, all right. Ms. Haywood, does the wall go away, yes or no?
The wall becomes an interior wall.
That's not my question. Does the wall go away, yes
It-
or
It
no?
appears to be a new, we can confirm with the architect, she's here.
It what?
The architect is here, so we could confirm with her.
Well, there's just a lot going on here. I'm having trouble absorbing all of these changes. This is a massive amount of changes on this house. I mean, there isn't one facade that's being untouched. And we're to approve this off of just this. I mean, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's an awful lot to, we've never had a property had so many changes in one HEMA. Do you not agree?
It is more than I've seen since
Yeah,
I've been here.
it's more than I've seen, and I've been on this commission a while.
And we could,
I'm not suggesting they're not entitled to do it, but one other question I have is, it almost appears that 98% of the lot's being gobbled up with a house. Is that appropriate?
Chair, the image that you have here is an excerpt from the site plan. So it's not necessarily representative of the entire, the blue outline that you see is just an outline around the image.
You mean that's not the site?
Correct. If you would like to view the full site plan, it's included in the packet that's distributed to the Historic Resources Commission. So for that, that would be page 100 out of 107 in the PDF packet that's been distributed to the HRC in advance of the
Mhm.
meeting. But the image that you saw on the slide is just a zoomed in image. The blue outlines that are on these images are just simply outlines on the slides.
Question. What's the lot size?
0.23 acres, whatever that is. Right. 0.23 acres.
See, they're adding a total of 450 square feet to the existing footprint, but the interior is reconfigured, which is not in our purview. But the 456 to the original 1,100 square foot home, so it becomes around 1,600, but the lot is around 10,000? So,
So the packet that you received on page 99 out of 107 shows the lot size. That's 11,995 square feet.
Yeah.
The lot
Oh,
coverage or the proposed
9,000.
total square footage
So-
would be just over 3,000.
so it's not encompassing the property, it's actually, the house is rather small then, so they're making around 1,600 square feet with the
What
extension.
will be the square footage of the house when completed?
About 1,600?
According to the plans, 3,423.
Oh, three.
Yeah, that's still,
N- not-
that's well within the lot coverage and the setbacks, so.
Ms. Haywood, what will be the square footage of the house excluding the garage?
2,876 square feet.
Yeah, we'll call it 2,900 square feet. Okay. Okay, can you go back to some of the top-down, okay, is this to be all done at the same time? Is it being done in phases or?
I did not hear if it was going to be done in phases. We could double check with the applicant, but my understanding is it's all at once.
Uh-huh, I see. Right. Okay. Are there any other questions by the commission of staff?
Yeah, if I may.
Commissioner Escamilla?
Thank you, Chair. Just double checking. So there's currently an active Mills Act contract on this property? Do we know the expiration date on that one?
You said the expiration?
Yeah, so it's like on a 10-year
Oh.
cycle, right? So when's the
Hmm.
next auto renew, I guess?
Don't have that in
Yeah.
front of me.
Yeah, I couldn't find it on my phone.
I'd have to double check that.
Okay, no, and I guess it's just to this. So the specific date doesn't matter. It's so much to me, but I believe this is probably one that doesn't have an active yeah, I guess a list of work associated with it. So I imagine that there is no kind of list of whatever work is happening. So again, my general concern is just that it's a $1.45 million home currently assessed at about 350,000 or so, so less than the average or even cheapest condo in the city currently. And effectively, there's an expansion going on, changing the historic character of the property. So, to the effect, it's $10,000 a year cheaper for the property owner to have a historic home that isn't necessarily being kept intact as it was originally constructed. So that's the only thing I'm having, I guess, a little bit of trouble with is like how we're kind of merging the two. And not to say that it's not an appropriate expansion. I don't necessarily see that, but that's my general concern that we would essentially be subsidizing, private home construction for, a fairly nice home, but I guess I just don't see that coming across in the staff report because I know that we typically just look at the financial impact directly to the city's budget, but it's a relatively small portion of the overall tax impact from having a continuous Mills Act contract for a property like this. So that's just one thing that I guess I would take a look at, and maybe it's part of a larger conversation as far as when we auto renew each one of these contracts every 10 years, just to have an active list of whatever the actual work is. Because again, otherwise it's an effective $10,000 a year subsidy to the property owner to expand their home, which again, is a policy decision, but I do believe that we need to have a discussion about that sort of policy decision. Yeah, that's all I have.
Well, the addition, if I'm adding correctly, so it's 456 on the one room and 150 on the other. We'll call it 600 square feet. Is that about correct? That's the total of the two additions?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the addition is 20% of what the total will be. So it's not, it just looks like a hell of a lot more. I mean, holy smokes, it's just remarkable. I don't think there's going to be one doorknob that won't be molested. Not one doorknob that
A lot
won't
of
be
the-
molested.
a lot of the work is interior as well, a lot
Beg your
of-
pardon?
A lot of the work is interior, if you
Oh,
look at it. So that's,
absolutely. I mean,
I mean,
interior, and
so
they're doing a
and-
tremendous amount of work.
if you look at it, at least for me, on 19th, there's not really much of the facade that's changing other than that one window. On Ross, everything is being done in the rear of the property, so actually the only changes that I see is on that alcove where you change that window,
Well,
that
it's-
door. Other
it's
than
on
that,
the-
everything's in the rear.
It's on the west side
Right, but it's,
and
you know,
the back predominantly, but
right.
anyway. Okay, so any other questions by the commission of staff? Okay. All right, so public hearing is now open. Would the applicant like to come forward? And if your architect is here, I would encourage him or her to come with you. Does the commission have any questions of the applicant? And just for, maybe you tell us your name, speak closely into the microphone.
Hi, I'm Matt Cantelis. Nice to meet you guys.
I'm Nicole Cantelis.
Lewis, I'm the designer.
You're what?
I'm the designer for the project.
Okay, all right. Okay, commissioners, any questions of the applicant? Commissioner Marashi?
Well, at first, do they have anything they would like to say to the commission?
Sure. So this is our third historic home. second in Floral Park. We also owned separately owned a home in Texas a couple years ago. Love the neighborhood. Our first Floral Park home was also Mills Act home. And we moved in the neighborhood for personal reasons. Wanted to have a single story house for a number of reasons, but didn't want to leave the area. Love Santa Ana. Grew up in Orange County and didn't really know much about Santa Ana, but really didn't love the stucco land that is South County. And so when we stumbled upon Floral Park, we said, hey, like, this is our home. We want to make it work here. And how can we do that? And part of that is trying to figure out for this home specifically, there's been, I think, 3 or 4 additions over 60 years that have happened to this house. So the interior is a bit of a patchwork of floor plans that aren't cohesive in any way. And a lot of different periods of materials. Some are in disrepair, floors coming up and cabinets don't close and things don't work. And so we're trying to figure out how do we be good stewards of this property and also reconfigure it in a way that makes it livable after so many additions and changes over the years. And also meet some, needs of a modern family. We work from home. We have a growing number of children, and trying to find a space that we can live and stay in Floral Park, and make the most out of a home that's really beautiful from the outside, but a little awkward on the inside. And we are planning to do it all at once. We're probably going to move out and try and just rip the Band-Aid off, live with our parents while we scrap it together. But either way, I totally understand the sentiments of the committee, and it is a lot of work. It's our third plan. We spent a lot of time thinking about how do we do this with the minimal impact to the site. We did a plan before we applied. We realized that plan was totally not going to work. We applied with an initial plan, scrapped that plan, and made a new plan. And so we've really done a lot of homework and diligence and trying to say, hey, how do we marry all of these things together in a way that is respectful, but also works for the purpose that we're trying to achieve. So we've also done a lot of maintenance. We've repaired all the stucco. We've painted the home, done a lot of things separate from renovating just to maintain the character of the home, maintain the landscape and other features of the home to make sure that we do well by its Mills Act status. But that's kind of a little bit of background for you guys. Do you want to say something? We did have a letter there's a couple of our neighbors put in.
Please speak into the microphone.
A couple of the neighbors put in letters of support. One of them didn't make it in the deadline, but we're happy to read that to you as well. I don't know. Do you have anything you want to say?
No, I agree with everything Matt said, and I'd be happy to read you that letter. We have shown it to all of our surrounding neighbors. They're in support of what we're trying to do. We really love Floral Park, and like Matt said, we want to be good stewards of this property, but it's a little disjointed the way that it is, and we'd like to stay there a while.
Did you have something you wanted to say, dear?
Addressed a few of your concerns. I will admit it does look like quite a bit of work, but again, a lot of that you're seeing is in interior work. This has been one of the more challenging projects I've worked with because of all the additions that were done at different times, and the connections between the rooms didn't make sense. The laundry's in the garage. There was all sorts of things that we had to address. The front bedroom was a single room, but it was clearly 2 rooms, and one had been added on and just kind of a room within a room. So that's why we're looking at that egress window in the front, was to really define that as 2 bedrooms and make it functional for a family. So again, I mean, the addition portions aren't that extensive if you really look at them, and the majority of the work is being done on areas that had been added to the home over different periods. So the true facades that were original to the home are being preserved very well, short of the one egress window. So that was really our main focus. And again, keeping the alcove between the garage and the existing house. But other than that, yeah, it was really making sure everything else was tucked away and hidden and as minimal as possible.
Now the garage, is it 2 one-car garages?
it's two-car garages. The one was original to the house, the other one had been added on.
I see. Okay. Andrea, could you pull up the slide that shows the garage doors? Those garage doors, I mean, you're doing all this work. Those garage doors, those stained wood, those are not in keeping with the style of this house.
They're painted,
Huh?
they're painted fiberglass today.
They're what?
Painted fiberglass today.
Oh, why did I see a picture that showed them stained?
Well, they might look stained, but I'm just for, they're painted fiberglass.
Painted white?
They're painted brown,
Fiberglass.
but they're fiberglass material. They're not wood,
Hmm.
and they're painted. I would agree with you, by the way.
Well, two giant garage doors. I mean, that's a massive, when you talk about a view corridor, that's a big chunk of space. And that, certainly fiberglass wasn't happening in 1923, let alone brown fiberglass. I sure wish that those could be redone in keeping with the color. I mean, that house is all white. I mean, those doors should be white, don't you think? Huh?
Painted helps to differentiate that if it was white, it would just look massive, even more so than the brown.
Well, I'm just
There's a
trying to mitigate
differentiation and
that
it does allude
massive,
to being wood. I mean,
those two
better
massive
than
garage
white.
doors. Huh?
But I believe it to be better than white. White would be just a big white expansive. At least it gives it a little bit of relief, but yeah, they're not the best doors. I think we can
All
all
right.
agree on that, but they are existing. That's-
Are there any other questions by the commission of the applicant?
I would add, it's not under the purview, but a lot of the, there's comments about the interior. The motto is 100 years new is what we're trying to do for the inside. So we'll be reusing as much as we can. There is lead paint inside, so we have abatement issues that we're going to be working with in terms of keeping interior details. But given our experience with these historic homes, we're used to that. So just so you guys know, like we really, even on the inside, we'll be using, period materials. There's no waterfall granite or, weird flashy things going on inside either. We'll be taking care of it pretty well. So.
Okay, I don't think there's any other questions of
Oh,
you folks.
I have a question. Yeah.
Oh, Commissioner Marashi?
Now I see what Chair Rush is talking about. When you look at page 90, it shows the one door that's being taken out and you got a stoop. And it's going to be replaced with a window. I thought there was another door on the side.
There is.
Yeah.
That your
There is?
understanding is correct. So when you walk up that stoop right now,
Yeah.
you walk up the stoop and you turn right into the house. In the future, you're gonna walk up that stoop and go straight. into the
Oh,
house.
so you're adding
So
a
you-
door.
So that door that's there here is
Yes,
gonna go
it's turned
here.
90 degrees.
And where that door
Okay.
is today, we're gonna put a window.
And that makes perfect sense why
And,
he's.
and so you're just moving the door 90 degrees, so the stoop is still
Yep.
operable
Yep.
and usable. It's just the entrance is gonna be 90
Just seemed
degrees.
like it was a stoop to nowhere all
Yeah.
of a sudden, so.
We had that at our last house, actually. We had a stoop to nowhere.
We did.
The stoop seemed kind of stupid, but we've
No, it was
cleared that
done
up.
before.
Commissioner Escamilla?
Yeah, no, yeah, thank you. I do feel that it is an extensive amount of work, but I actually like the way that you designed it, and there's slight differentiation between each one of the segments. So it's one of those subtle details where even the roof, seems to kind of step down there. So I thought that was really good as far as distinguishing between the different builds and kind of making it that more cohesive whole. So yeah, it's definitely a lot from the back area, but it's the area that you need to make it more livable. And yeah, I think the site plans definitely make the home seem larger than it is relative to the size of the lot there. And I know you're working with a corner site, so you're already kind of at a loss on both ends. So yeah, I just definitely am looking forward to seeing kind of the final end product. And you were trying to avoid the stucco, but you ended up in the stucco home, but it's a good stucco, not the historic kind.
It's a smooth stucco, yeah.
Yeah, the smooth one. So I appreciate appreciate that. And then I guess just more than anything, I do like the fact that you're gonna, that 100 years new, so the reutilization of the interior materials. But whatever you don't use, always say, reach out to your local historic preservation folks to, to see what you can salvage. And, just, you seem like a group of folks that know that even whatever you don't find valuable might be valuable. Yeah.
Somebody will, yeah.
Yeah. So, good luck with that.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments.
I just have a little comment. Thank you for caring and being stewards of our homes here in Santa Ana. I'm passionate about that. And that you're considering, although the interior is not in our purview, but you're considering all the materials and all that, because I walk into homes so many times that outside is one period or a different architectural style, and they just clash, even though with the best of intentions. So I applaud you, because it is a considerable amount of infusion of funds that you're going to be doing for that. So I thank you for caring for our neighborhoods.
Okay, thank you again, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Madam Secretary, have we received any written communication, or is there a member of the public that would like to comment on this item?
We have received written communication after the deadline, and it would be made part of the record. If you're attending this meeting in person and would like to comment on this item, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. If you're participating via Zoom and would like to comment on this item, please select the hand icon and unmute yourself. If you're calling in and would like to comment on this item, please dial 9 and then 6 to unmute yourself. Chair, we do not have any speakers.
Okay. All right, thank you, Madam Secretary. The public hearing is now closed. So is there a motion to approve this matter and a second?
Chair?
Yes, Commissioner
I would like
Marashi?
to move that we adopt a resolution approving certificate of appropriateness for historic exterior modification application number 2024-01.
Okay, do we have a second? Commissioner Haragi? All right. Madam Secretary, would you like to call roll?
Commissioner Christie? Commissioner Escamilla?
Yes.
Commissioner Hardy? Commissioner Harigi?
Yes.
Commissioner Padilla? Commissioner Rincon?
Yes.
Commissioner Ship? Vice Chair Marashi?
Yes.
Chair Rush?
Yes.
Motion approved by a majority vote.
Okay, congratulations. Looked a little bleak there for a moment, but pulled it out. Good for you. Okay, I guess at this point, we can offer comments.
No, we
from
have
our
to go back to
commissioners.
the item that we tabled, so the excused absences.
Oh, that's right. We got to deal with that. Okay, so, well, do we, Commissioner, I guess that we'll entertain a motion to excuse the absences, the absent commissioners. Do we have a motion to give them excused absences, or is there a different thought?
Yeah, I think we can excuse them. It's
Okay,
fine.
so we have a motion to excuse all the absent commissioners. They are to be beaten with a wet noodle. And do we have a second? Do we need a second for that? I guess we do. Yes, do we need, Commissioner Rincon? All right. Madam Secretary, would you call the roll?
It was motioned by Commissioner Escamilla. Okay. Commissioner Christie? Commissioner Escamilla?
Yes.
Commissioner Hardy? Commissioner Hardiky?
Yes.
Commissioner Padilla? Commissioner Rincon?
Yes.
Commissioner Ship? Vice Chair Marashi?
Yes.
Chair Rush?
Yes.
Motion approved by majority vote with Commissioner Christie, Commissioner Hardy, Commissioner Padilla, and Commissioner Ship absent.
Okay. All right. So I'm sure this was an oversight, but there's no reference for commissioner comments, but I suspect that was just an error. Okay, we're going to start down here to my left with our new commissioner. Oh, staff, yes, that's right. So, sorry,
It's all
I'm just
right.
making faux pas left and right here.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to provide the commission two quick updates this evening. First of all, as we've discussed in the past, our website has now been updated and we're currently accepting applications for this year's Historic Preservation Awards. I know Commissioner Hardy, who has often brought it up, we paused that temporarily during the pandemic, but in response to just returning to normal, we're excited to restore that program. The website is updated with instructions and a form on how to submit. If anyone has any questions, they can email historic preservation at santa-ana.org. And as well, just call the planning department. We'd be happy to connect them with the resources needed. So these awards celebrate historic preservation awards and preservation projects in our community, and traditionally are recognized by the Historic Resources Commission and the City Council toward the tail end of the year. So we're excited to bring that up back. And if there's any questions about it from the community or from the commissioners, feel free to contact us. If you know anyone who's interested in making a submission but is having difficulty, we're happy to guide them through the process. The second staff update is on the Mills Act self-reporting. So as required by the California Government Code, owners of properties that are subject to a Mills Act for preservation are required to routinely provide updates to the city or the local jurisdiction on the investments that they're making to maintain and upgrade the historic resource or restore any features back to original. And we're very proud now that we have the staffing and the sort of focus again on historic preservation that for the first time in the city's history, we will be implementing that requirement. So as a quick update to the commission and the community, we've identified the 10 oldest Mills Act holders in the community, and we've developed a web page that they're going to be asked to go on in sort of a soft launch and fulfill the requirements. They'll be contacted directly to basically provide information on their property, their Mills Act, and their investments during the Mills Act period and reinvesting in the property. And again, those will be contacted directly. Assuming there's no major glitches, then we'll roll it out to bigger batches based on age moving forward. And again, if any member of the community has a question on that, they're more than happy to contact us using our standard means. That's it for the evening. Thank you. Oh, last staff update, I guess, on a less serious note, I just want to thank our historic preservation planner, Andrea, for this evening and many more. She'll be taking a temporary leave as she welcomes new members to her family. So this will be the last meeting she'll attend for some time, and we'll likely see her after the new year.
Andrea, does this mean you're adopting more children, or?
No, I'm having twin boys.
You're what?
I'm having twins.
Oh, you're having twins.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize. Oh,
Yes,
my
thank
goodness.
you.
Wow.
Congrats.
Congratulations. Wow. Well, you're growing your family by leaps and bounds. Huh. How about that? Okay, congratulations. And now, Ali, does that mean we've identified these 10 and we've sent out letters to them, or that is yet to be done?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. We are still refining the language for the letter and are getting them out shortly.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we'll move to commissioner comments, and I'll start with our newest commissioner, Mr. Rincon.
Yeah, I just want to thank Commissioner Christie for the history lesson. A lot of information that I didn't know about Santa Ana. Only been living here about 12 years, so I'm originally from Los Angeles. So that was a good lesson to learn. Just looking forward to working with you guys and taking me on, welcoming me to this commission.
Very good. Aren't you, we were all saved by the bell that Alberta had to go to another meeting, or we would still be here discussing the attributes of the that period of time, bless her heart. So thankfully God intervened, and she had that other meeting to go to. So yes, Commissioner Hargy.
Oh, I'm just going to add one more thing. The arch at the South Main, I think that Lisa had a lot to do with that too. Our
Yes.
historic arch.
Yes,
So no,
she and Tom Lutz had a lot to do with that arch. Actually, it was a recreation of one that was, I want to say, on North Main, back in
I
the
think they had a.
40s, 50s. And they
Both sides.
recreated it in that location as was meant to be a restart of the South Main
Mhm.
Historic Business District. So,
No, well, thank you very much for all the information. And I had a question. You know, the classes we took from the Secretary Interior, first class, second class. I missed the third family. We had things to do. Is there a way for me to get that information? And I just had a thought, maybe Commissioner Rincon might enjoy the recordings, and that would help because it helped me enormously. I have bits and pieces of things that are appropriate, but that educational series was very, very good to help us understand.
Yeah, they should be on the a link that they sent you for the recordings. I know that's what I had to do. I had to go back and just rewatch them, but that link was still active as of like at least a month ago. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Escamilla, and thank you, Commissioner Jauregui. We can certainly re-forward the email with the link to the recordings, not just for yourself, but also even for Commissioners Rincon and Padilla, who are new to the commission.
Yeah, the new commissioners, I think that would be very helpful for educational purposes to help us look at things correctly. So I appreciate it. And congratulations, Andrea. That is so exciting. So, no, but thank you again. And the weather is gorgeous, so we can enjoy our walks in our neighborhoods. Yes.
Commissioner Marashi?
I want to thank the homeowners for bringing their homes in front of us. Congratulations. I also want to thank staff for coming tonight and all the hard work you've done. And thank Andrea for her excellent presentations, as well as putting up with Chairman Rush, and also congratulations. And then finally, I just want to say Floral Park had a wonderful home tour. It was very successful. Thanks for everybody that volunteered and worked it. I also want to say, you know, next month is going to be the elections. And I would sincerely be honored for your consideration for nomination as a chair at the next meeting. So I'm just putting that out there. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Okay, Manny?
Yeah, no, sorry. It's going to be hard to, what is it, top the power play that I just saw there, Ed. But all good. So I guess, yes, congratulations, Andrea. Yeah, like, so now I know that we all tend to, or have a much more high likelihood of taking after our parents' profession. So now we have like 2 more chances for additional historic preservation planners. You can start training them young. But either way, enjoy the time off. I definitely appreciated the additional detail that you provide and really kind of anticipating a lot of our questions. Just thanking you for that. More seriously, the kind of an emerging concern around the Memorial Park expansion and kind of new aquatic center that's coming in. So I know that I had communicated to certain staff within the city, like, hey, just make sure that the Emilio Vasquez Chicano Gothic mural is, retained and restored, or not restored, but retained and not demolished. I was unable to get a hold of the architect and the firm that's responsible for kind of overseeing the project. I believe Scott Hawk, or Hawk Scott, indicated that the mural was going to be preserved. I believe Nabil Saba did not know that it was going to be preserved and indicated that it was actually going to be transferred. So I just wanted clarification on that. That is probably one of our most important local cultural resources, and it's a city asset. And I would hate for that to fall through the cracks. It's just it's there. We don't have to do anything, just not demolish it. So as as part of the Historic Commission, I don't know if we can get an official report back on that, just to have something publicly on the record saying, like, look, this is what's going on with this mural. Again, I do believe it's a historic resource, or should be at least considered here as a historic resource.
Okay. All right. I too would like to thank our homeowners for bringing their homes to us. I know it might appear otherwise. We don't really mean to make it a Spanish Inquisition, so I hope you didn't feel that way. But you of course are very intimately familiar with the details of your project, and so sometimes we have to wrap our head around these complicated expansions exterior modifications, which yours was quite remarkable in its scope and breadth, let's just say. So anyway, congratulations. And thank you to staff for, I know you worked hard on bringing this to us. I would like to also just share with you, there are some new standards put out by the Secretary of the Interior regarding the use of materials. And that is an update, and I'm going to forward that email to our secretary and ask if she would send that out to the commission. I received that last week at our board meeting for Preserve Orange County. So I think that would be of interest to each of you. Also, for those of you that might be interested, I started a couple of years ago doing a walking tour of historic French Park. And I am doing that this Saturday. We will get inside of at least one house, probably two or more, but it's a fun little walk through French Park. Takes about 2.5 hours. You can buy tickets through Preserve Orange County online. Currently, we have 20 tickets sold. There's only room for 25. So anyway, that's preserveorangecounty.org if you go on your computer. I did want to ask staff about a couple of buildings, and that is, I continue to be concerned about arson that affects our historic structures, and I am terrified that arson is going to visit the McFarlane building there on North Main. Of course, they were successful in torching the bungalow behind it, which was originally supposed to be part of the proposed hotel. I don't have any real doubt that the property owner would be delighted to have them both torched and not have to deal with them. Having a clean site scraped would be probably, like most developers, his preference. But the McFarlane house is historic and needs to get occupied. So I hope that every effort will be made to see that the property owner is leaned on to make that happen. The other one that I want to ask about, and that is the Gilmacher building at 4th and Broadway. Now, this commission approved a historic exterior modification agreement, also quite extensive. They're going to add a second floor. You all remember that's the last original intersection in town. And there's a for lease sign on that building as of a couple of weeks ago. So do you know what's going on with that HEMA?
Yes, we're in pretty constant communication with the applicant still. And the latest is that the rooftop addition is no longer moving forward due to financial reasons. But it does have a Mills Act, and they plan to prepare the building for a future tenant, but they're still working out the details, but they're no longer adding on to the building.
Interesting. That would seem to take away dramatically from the value of the finished product. That's too bad. They lost their financing from what they had, obviously. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. What else did I have to ask about? I guess that's it. So we now, I notice here that our next meeting is scheduled for July the 4th. Memory serves, there's something going on that day. I forget what it is. Why in the world would we have a meeting scheduled for July the 4th? How could that be?
If you ask Mr. Dale Helvig last night, he'll tell you it's Norwegian Heritage Day. But it is actually Independence Day, but that is the regularly scheduled meeting. So city offices will be closed. And as we approach that deadline, we'll poll the commissioners for their availability for a special meeting.
Well, if I could offer a suggestion, Madam Secretary, that you do that right away rather than wait until a week ahead. I would do that right away. And people probably know now what their travel plans are. So let's set that date so we can all plan around it rather than have, last minute plans have to be changed. I would say, let's do that now. Okay, is there anything else to come before us? All right,
Yeah.
Manny?
Yeah, no, I would just add, in addition to the sites that you had identified as abandoned, I think it's more just of a holistic question of, can we get anything that has a list of the essentially red tag code enforcement sort of buildings that have red tags from code enforcement that are also historic? So then we can just kind of get a general update on that list, because I think it's really more of a citywide issue as far as abandoned historic structures.
That's a good idea. So hopefully, Ali, you can work with code enforcement staff to get that. So it
Absolutely.
probably would
We'll-
surprise us, huh?
We'll obtain the list and distribute it to the commission via
Okay,
our
great.
recording secretary. Thank you.
All right, if there's nothing to come before us, we stand in adjournment until